Hello, good evening and welcome to the Little Farmer's Farm with me, Tony. Now on the 14th of April 2021, which was 4 months ago-ish, we planted in some new potatoes, some seed potatoes in the form of Pentland Javelin and Red Dukes of York. Now we've harvested half the beds, we put 2 beds together, which were like sort of roughly 5 foot by 4 foot, 5 feet by 4 feet. And we harvested half of them a couple of weeks ago, but we've got the rest of them to take now, because what's happened is, as you can see down there, all the foliage, the growth, the leaf, the horns, has all died off. And so they're not going to be growing any more of those potatoes. You can leave them in the ground and they will potentially swell a little bit by taking on moisture, but what may happen is they can start to rot off because we've got some really bad damp conditions. So the happy medium is, it's been 14 weeks now, well 15 weeks more or less, for these new potatoes, and it's time to clear the beds, and then we'll get the follow-on veg in there in the form of the leeks and beetroot that'll take us through the winter. Anyway, enough blathering. Alright, let's have a bit of fun with the Pentlands. These are the Pentlands. So all I do is I wrap all the stems up like this and let's give them a pull. Oh, they've all come off. They'll all be in the ground, don't you worry. There's the seed potato. Promise you, there'll be spuds in them there mounds. Let's have a look at this one. Same story there, there's the seed potato. Right, let me have a rummage through there, and for these 2 first plants, let's see what we've got. There's a nice clutch of Irish eggs here, and we've only just started. Irish eggs. That's the surface. Let's see if we've got any more underneath the surface. What have we got? We've got to have some more in here, surely. They can't all be just sat there. I'm not having that. Oh, maybe they are. I'll carry on mooching through. That's the first 2 though we've got in here. That's from 2. Little bit of scab on that one, but they're not looking too bad on the whole. Scab's nothing really, it's not going to affect it too much, just peel it off like, but it just looks a bit unsightly. They'll be getting a wash when they get back. But that's from 2 plants, that. And yeah, there's about 4 or 5 pounds in weight there. A couple of kilos at least, probably about 4.2 pounds in there. Right, so that's the first 2. Let's get the rest out. Right, so those are the Pentland Javelins. And that's 8 plants worth. And it's not too bad, there's about 13 or 14 pounds of spuds there. I was hoping for more than that, but if I remember rightly, I just used the horse manure in here. I didn't use any other kind of fertiliser. So it was just like compost and dirt and fertiliser in the form of horse compost. Horse manure. But yeah, it's not bad, is it? 8 in. Quite considerably more than 8 out. I would say in there's about 60 potatoes. At least, probably 70. And the size that went in was about that size. Like a medium egg size on these new potatoes. On the Pentlands. So it's not a bad return. Let's see how these guys get on. The Red Dukes of York. I've got higher hopes for these. They're usually more prolific, or the last lot were. So we'll get that bucket and we'll see what we've got. Alright. Same again. I'm just going to grab them by the horns. give them a pull. Chuck the old leaf over there, out the way. Right, so last time when we pulled these, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a few more, quite a considerable amount more actually, than the Pentlands. And I think it's going to be the same case this time around. Some decent sizes as well on these. This is all a one seed potato, guys, by the way. Only one in. Tend to spread the wings better as well. They sort of fill up the beds, these, with the root system. You know what I mean? In fact, let's get them in the bucket, because I've got higher hopes for these dukes, these red dukes. Because I think that has just scratched the surface, to be honest. Of what we're actually going to get from them. Yeah, they're filling up this bed, these. There's plenty in. This is just the one plant, remember. One potato in. Several potatoes out. Yep. Yeah. You can get the tiddlers, because they'll turn into volunteers next year. You'll get another plant coming off them if you don't get them all. Right, I'm going to call that one. So one in. What are we saying there? $28 out from one in. And the one that we put in was probably around about that size as a seed potato. So actual volume wise, we're talking at least 30 times or a 300% return by weight on those. That's the first one anyway, so let's just check on the other ones and see how they're getting on. Just found another one. Right. Okay, so I'm going to say for the 3rd year running now, the Red Dukes of York have romped it as regards to volume of potatoes that you're pulling out. That and those were just 6 plants. That was 8 plants. Those were 6. So from the 6 plants, we've got a good twice as much from those 6 than we got from the 8 Pentlands. Flavour-wise, the Pentlands will edge it. These are good as a roasty though. Roasted with honey and herbs. But yeah, there's a standard new potato. We're looking more towards the Pentlands. But yeah, it shows you that there's about, I'd say 12, 13 pounds there. Probably about 24 pounds there by weight. Difficult to actually lift them one-handed. And I'm a fantastic physical specimen. Oh, well, these are quite heavy. It's quite a bit of weight to them. They must be a denser potato than these. But yeah, they are not a bad crop though, really. from that half a bed there, 6 plants in, we got all of those out. Remember, that's 6 seed potatoes that were probably around about that size when they went in, sort of like a chicken's egg size. When they went in, we have got probably around about God knows, over 100 spuds in there from 6, which is pretty good. It's not a bad return, is it? I'm going to say there's about 20 spuds per seed potato there. These a bit less, but not much less. And by weight, not too bad at all. Not a bad result. I've got a couple of actual buckets I need to tip out as well, so let's go and take a look at those. Now we've got some potatoes. What better with potatoes than peas and maybe even some sweet corn? Sweet corn is wind pollinated. These at the top, these sort of flowering tips at the top, release the pollen drops. That's why you want them quite closely planted, really, sweet corn. The pollen drops onto these tassels at the bottom. Rotted off though, so they're going to be probably alright unless some bugs got in and ate it. But they drop onto the tassels at the bottom, and when they turn this sort of a colour, hopefully then all the corn within has been pollinated and it turns into that yellow sweet corn. These are going to be quite a pale yellow, this particular variety, which I'm going to have to look back and see what it is actually, this, to be honest with you. These have been fairly neglected. We prepared the bed, if you remember, for the corns, planted the little plants in when they were about sort of like 14 inches high, just after the last frost. So it was the end of March, I think it was, into April. No, it wasn't. It was the end of April going into May, which was a little bit early, really. But we put them in anyway, and they've been growing now for the last sort of 4 months and what have you. So we've got the corns on. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, all brown at the tips. Do 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 do. And there's the corn. The sweet corn. My little boys love that. I like it as well with butter. It ain't too bad. Take some peas as well to go with them. Take a couple of cherry tomatoes. When I say couple, probably about 20 for the kids, and also a couple of cucumbers. Yeah, there's plenty ripening up now. These Moneymaker are blushing too. Blushing quite well down at the lower branches. But yeah, I'm going to get some more of these, I think. Yeah, so these cucumber plants, the Tasty King cucumbers, are the gift that just keeps giving, as you'll see shortly. Yes, again, there's a whopper there. And his next door neighbour's producing now. Wasn't producing earlier, that one, but it seems to be now. It seems to be coming through. Don't know how many we'll get off that one, but certainly this first plant, I just twist them off. This first plant's doing really well. That's the 9th cucumber of a similar size to this that we've taken from that plant. And there are more coming, as you can see. The comfrey feed is fantastic stuff, and I keep smashing my head on that stupid bloody basket every time. That's the 3rd time tonight. So there's the tomatoes. Those ones are Super Sweet 100, and we've still got plenty coming on them. These are the Moneymaker. These are Moneymaker, but there's 2 together there, the Super Sweet 100. These seem to be bigger fruits, don't they, on this one, the one next door to it. They're not coming over from the other side, those, are they? Oh, they might be coming over from this one, to be honest. Crowding its neighbour out. They are a bit close together, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's a decent cucumber. We'll get another one from another plant. Oh, there's a big fat one at the back there, look. In fact, there's 2 on this. But that one at the back is a goodly size, isn't it? Let's see if we can take that off without destroying anything. I should really have snippers for this, but I don't have any snippers at the moment. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah. That's about 15 or 16 inches long, that one. That's a good size. What else have we got in here? Oh yeah, the N1 started to produce now. These were planted in a week or two after. So hopefully we'll get some sort of succession if we continue to get decent weather, decent growing weather. We should be alright, because the cukes are still coming on these. Spider's been busy, good lad. Yeah, we've got some cukes coming on these, and they're looking quite healthy, not bad. In fact, I might have to they've got sent runners out, you see, so I might have to trim that back a little bit. So these are Charlottes. Or rather, that one is, and these four are here. I can't remember what I put in these. I think they were just like spur ones, because I didn't really top up the buckets at the back either on those. But I think these are Charlottes, pretty sure. But the label's disappeared. So yeah, let's just take a couple of these. There's one I've already taken down. I'm just going to take that one down as well. We'll just have a tip out on 2 of those and see what results we're getting from the buckets rather than in the ground. Won't be a real light for light, because the other 2 varieties aren't Charlottes, obviously, but it'll be interesting to see, won't it? So I've just started to pull off the horns, and then I'll just give them a tip out then, you know. Oh, we're getting spuds. Getting spuds. These are salad potatoes, Charlotte, so you'll cook them first, and you can have them cold with a salad. It's the best way, really, for having Charlottes for me. Or you can have them warm with some butter. But yeah, let's just see what we've got. I'll just tip it. Alright, so that's like an upturned tower of spuds, hopefully. What should I put them in? I'll put them in the bucket they've already just come out of. But all the rest of we don't waste any of our growing medium. That goes in to top off the beds, obviously. But we'll have to break in and see what we've got. We've had a mixed bag, really, with the weather. It's been dry, and then it's been wet, and we had a really hot spell. And I've not neglected them, but I haven't really been watering them. I've only given them a couple of waterings over the last 2 or 3 months that they've been in the buckets. So that's the seed potato there. So that was the size of seed potato that we actually put in the ground, or in the bucket. And these are what we've got off from that seed potato. From the one seed potato in the bucket, which is a 20 litre Tesco's cut flour bucket, which is that one. We're getting these out. I like growing in buckets. I like growing in the ground. I just like growing me. I'm one of them. Whatever happens, it's all gravy, like. I like it a lot. When you're getting fairly decent returns, I mean, 1 potato in's not bad, is it? You're getting all this back, and as I say, none of the growing medium goes to waste at all. It all gets reused, repurposed, recycled. In fact, it doesn't get repurposed, it just gets the same purpose, but it gets reused and recycled. So any expense that you, the vast majority of the expense is reclaimed, obviously, when you get the you get the extra compost that you can use again, if you like. Have we got everything? No, we've not. Still a couple. Okay, so that's that. And that's the spuds. Not bad from a bucket. I'm going to say £1.50. Yeah. I watch Homegrown Veg, HGV, Homegrown Veg. He's always doing bucket growing, and he gets decent returns. And that's about your average return really for the bucket that you've grown your spuds in, especially new potatoes or salad potatoes like these Charlotte. Not too bad, is it? It's enough for a meal. So I'll see what's in this one, and we'll tally up. The bucket number 2, guys, again, the Charlotte. We'll give that a tip. Let's see what we've got inside. Everything's difficult. Everything's more difficult with 2 hands. Let me just lift it. With 1 hand, rather. Okay. Let's get into this one again. Break in through the base. There's the seed. Yeah, little seed. And this is what we've got inside. This one's looking a bit better, actually. Right. Pick through them. Don't forget to get them all out, even the little ones, the baby ones, because they will grow again. And they might be growing in a place where you don't want them growing, so just remove them, pick them out as you find them. I like rummaging, get my hands dirty. I'm clean and professional all day long at work, and then I can get dirty then when I come down here. Been lucky tonight really, because it's not been pouring down. The weather has been a bit blowy and wet today, but I've been alright since I've been down here. It's not been too bad. We've not been beset by the rain. It's been okay. Not getting a bad little return off these. That's got a bit of green on it, that, and it feels a bit soft. That's not past muster. That has. So you're doing your own quality control as well when you're growing your own vegetables and you're growing your own, in this case, tubers. You can check them as you're taking them out and just make sure that you're happy with them, and you're getting a decent quality from them. You know, if you grow your own like this, or you can hopefully. The idea of doing this is that one day we'll be pretty much self-sufficient. That's the idea. That's the plan. And potatoes are a good carbohydrate source. You know, they tick that box. We've got all these leafy greens going at the back here. We're trying to continue on the theme of growing the leafy greens through the winter months, which we did last year on a smaller scale. This year we're going to do it on a larger scale, where we're going to have all both tunnels and greenhouses filled with leafy greens is the plan. And maybe some overwintering outside inside these jungles in the netted hoop houses. Overwinter the onions, same with the garlic again, like we did last year, and just try and keep some continuation and some year-round growing. During the winter and the spring months, you don't get very much. There's like a 4-month period where you can't live off your land. But last year, through the summer months and into autumn, through autumn, in the run-up to winter, we were doing fine. We had 90% of what we were eating was coming off the land that we've got, and it's not a massive amount of land. But with our vegetables, we were getting about 90% for about 8 months, I'd say, 7 or 8 months, a decent length of time. But then through the winter months, it dropped down to the lowest part, where we were only taking probably about 10% through the coldest months, the most barren months. But all the while, we're trying to perfect that so that we can we can maybe get returns through, certainly through early winter. There'll be, I think, 3 months where we're going to be lean. We're going to try and store as much as we can, but we're trying not to store it as well using power. So freezing stuff, we're trying to avoid that if we can, and store it by more natural means. We're going to be looking into fermentation and drying and whatnot, you know, just better storage. Alright, hope you enjoyed it tonight. It's just been a bit of a ramble really for me tonight, but I thought I'd touch base with you all because I'm going to be probably throwing a video up on Saturday. Weather permitting, we're going to get quite a bit more planting done for the late autumn and into winter. And yeah, keep growing with your heads down. Dirty hands, but who cares? If you've been a lady, you've been beautiful, fantastic and fragrant. If you've been a gentleman, you've been forthright, masculine and virile. And if you've been something in between, you've been something in between. I've been Gordon Mafinda, you've been a wonder to behold. And we love you all. Catch you later. Take care of yourselves and each other, and keep growing with your heads down. Join the growers' revolution. Get stuck into it. Beat the food shortages that are coming. Alright. Take care now, boys and girls. Ta-da. Namaste.